Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of 30 Plus Click with Max and Yo-Yo. I want to thank you. We want to thank you guys so much for watching our last few episodes. We've been seeing all of you coming through gradually. We just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you to all of you who have reacted, to all of you who have shared, to all of you who have liked. We want to say thank you, thank you, thank you so much. We couldn't do this without you. If we're making a impact in your life in one way or the other, we are just so excited to be here. That said, yo, what are we doing today?
Thank you, Max. And so today we're going to be talking about our thoughts versus our reality and the pathway of bringing thoughts out of our mind and coming out of our shells and coming out of our thoughts and, being real. So, Max, what has been your experience and what has been the way you do flip out of your thinking, out of all the thoughts in your head, and you budge out into reality?
Honestly, for me, I can say without a doubt that for many years that I have been somebody who has struggled with imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome because I have often felt like an imposter for the positions that I was holding. I remember this started one time, I think maybe 2017. That was my first real experience with imposter syndrome. I'd gotten into this organization. This is work, by the way. I got into this organization and they had all these amazing people who were working there. Everybody in and of themselves were fabulous. You know, mind you, this organization was not doing anything that I had studied in the university. So, like, you know how Nigeria always, kind of makes, biochemists into bankers, stuff like that. So this organization was not doing anything that I studied in the university. So suddenly I find myself in the middle of these people who are doing fabulous work. When you turn left like this, you see somebody excelling on another level. And here I come, very new, very brand new tier rubber trying to make a place for myself in this place. And I realized that I could not compete. Not saying that I couldn't compete, but I didn't want to compete with the brilliance of these people in their field because many of them have gone to school for many, many years to get to the level that they currently were. What I decided to do in that moment was to carve a niche for myself. If I was not certified to do what they already, spent 4 years or 5 years or however many years they did in the university, I could find a place for myself in this organization. And I think that this was one of the earliest times when I enrolled in YouTube University. And, and I always say this today that I would not have a career without my time in YouTube University. And I started to like get on these creators. And this is one of the things that I really love about social media. Like social media is a place where you can find so many different things. Anything you're looking for, you will find it. If you choose to use it as a force for good, you will find good content. So I found content from creators who were basically teaching, how basic new skills, and I started to pick out those skills. I could spend so many hours in a day perfecting those skills, learning on YouTube, but there was always something that I felt, even though the people around me were starting to see the development that I was creating for myself, the niche that nobody had in that organization, I still felt small. I still felt like a fraud. I still felt like I wasn't good enough. And do you know why? It all boils down to the fact that I felt, well, I didn't get a real university education to do this because I didn't go to school for this. Mind you, I was already studying this on YouTube, but I didn't rate YouTube as a proper place of learning, even though YouTube technically gave me my first experience in my career. I remember speaking with somebody one day, and I was just trying to be so down on myself, and I was looking down on myself, and the person was like, "What are you talking about? What are you exactly talking about?" And this is where you have to have good influences, where you have people that when you don't think great about yourself. They can speak life into you. Because I was feeling down. I wasn't feeling like I was contributing enough because I didn't have that university degree to back it up, and this person was giving me all my flowers. I remember what should I go on?
Yes, of course, Max. We're enjoying your thoughts.
I remember working into the office the next day and feeling like, okay, maybe I am worth something. And you wouldn't believe when I started to raise my shoulder, square my shoulder a little bit. I went to this uh there was a meeting that I went to, and somebody had walked up to my boss and at the time and said, "Who does all your communication stuff? Who does all your work?" And my boss had just pointed to me right there, who was like, "That girl right there, she's like doing it." And at the time, I was like, I could not believe because I was just having a conversation yesterday with somebody, or at the time, with somebody thinking, hey, I don't think I'm doing so well. Only for the person to tell me, oh, you're doing better than you think. You're doing way, way better than you think. In fact, you're setting a standard that people are starting to look up to you. Only for me to walk into the meeting the next day and somebody's asking me, you know, can you do my stuff as well? And I really found myself in awe. So that was one of a pivotal moment for me in my life when I started to realize, like, hey, I need to surround myself with positive influence, and I need to be really honest with yourself, be really honest with myself, and say, this is where I'm at right now, right? And how can I create a niche for myself and really stand 10 toes deep? When I found that, and when I found people who were really, really willing to pour into me, when I didn't feel great myself, it was one of the turning points in which I had to, break out of my shell and really take out that imposter syndrome. And it's a moment for growth, I tell you.
Well, thank you so much for being very real. And what you've said so loudly is that, yes, those thoughts will play like music in your head. Those thoughts sometimes can play like a movie. However, one thing you did very well that resonates is that in spite of those thoughts, you were able to acknowledge the people around you that are doing so well. And also you decided not to compete, but to create a niche for yourself. And also you also decided to learn new skills. And so when those thoughts comes banging on your head, just pick a pen and highlight the skills that can, negate those negative thoughts. And something I really love that you did, you decided to become aware of those feelings. And so the thoughts were finding an expression through some feelings. You were aware of those feelings, but you never validated those feelings. However, you focused on the skills, you validated your skills and the role and the niche you wanted to create for yourself. And what was so loud and very beautiful about your story is that you decided to surround yourself with people that will speak positive words into you and will influence you in the right direction. So, guys, the negative thoughts are real. The imposter syndrome are very real, but don't give in to it. Pick
Honest,
your skill.
honestly, honestly, I really just resonate with what you just said, and I know you're piggybacking off of what I said, but that's so real. Like having people, the right people who'll be able to hold you up when you're feeling down is very important. But also being able to hold yourself accountable, to say, I need to do this and do that, like you said, how to itemize the voices in your head, close out the ones that are speaking loudly negatively, and, basically power through with creating a niche for yourself, even when you don't feel like it. Wow. Honestly, I know, like you, I didn't think that was what I was doing at the time, but now that I look back in hindsight, wow, interesting.
Yeah. That's how the story always progress, right? So it never ends until it dies. So we keep saying it progresses well. So Max, I have another question for you. The question is,
Okay.
when you realize that, oh, now I have found my skills, I have found a niche for myself, I'm getting all the accolades now, what then did you do to sustain it?
Honestly, it was a period of continuous learning. And I'm not going to lie and say, oh, I got my flowers that day and the feelings never came back. They did. They come back 10 times louder. For every level you clear, there's always a level that maybe when you get into, you feel like, oh, I shouldn't be here. Let me tell you this. I remember this one time I got this job. When they advertised for the job, they said they needed somebody with 15 years experience. I just gingerly sent my CV in. Do you understand? And I
Mhm.
went, I submitted my CV, and I got called for an interview. I didn't even know who was interviewing because they had outsourced the enrollment process, the recruitment process. So I wasn't really aware of the gravitas of the role. Needless to say, I end up getting the role. I'm sitting with people who are twice my age. So you can imagine that the syndrome, the imposter syndrome, comes back 10 times louder. Like, you don't belong in this room. You shouldn't be here, right? But that's the thing. You keep on working. You keep on working because for every time you clear a level, it's gonna come back. It's not going to go away. It's left for you to keep on silencing it. And what did I do? I kept on improving myself. So it's not to say, oh, YouTube University gave me the skills that I needed, therefore I didn't need to do more. No, I kept on improving. What is the new skill? What is the latest trend in my career path? What are the emerging technologies that I needed to be up to speed with? I needed to know those things to validate my position, right? Because the point remains that when you stop learning, when you stop growing, when you stop expanding your wealth for knowledge, you die, you become redundant. And this is the point where people will be like, do we actually need this role in this organization? Can we do without this person? And then you find out that you're out, right? So for me, it was just a process of continuous learning, continuous expanding. Of course, my community, my people kept on cheering me on as I went. And that is another thing, having people who are cheering you on. And I love my community because it is a community of successful women, and seeing all of us just flying in our own area of specialization is just something that is so lovely to see.
Well, that's beautiful that you have to, stay in the process of learning. Learning never ends. New skills never end. But I have another question for you. So for people out there that don't have the ability to break free from that imposter syndrome, and also they don't have the ability to list out the voices in their head and match it with a skill that they need to learn. Or for people that are dead and they think they are tired, they've gotten to that point or that peak of their career and they think that they're just there. How can they revamp themselves?
One of the things that I today I try to remind myself is that where I am now was at one point a prayer point. You know, that at one point, if you're not a religious person, that's okay. But where you are right now, the life you're currently living was at one point a dream that you had dreamed, a vision that you had seen, a goal that you have set for yourself. And somehow you have worked and you've made it happen. And so, regardless of whatever is happening right now, that if you have been able, I just want us to take a moment to look back at how far we've come, and acknowledge the effort that you've already put in. That's something that I tend to do. Last week myself, you know, I was put in a position where I was going through something, and I really needed to take a step back, and look at how far I have come and acknowledge the journey. And I know that it's difficult right now. And I know that it has not gone the way that I want it to go. But I also know that if I apply a little bit more pressure, that maybe, just maybe, I could be able to break into that next level. And that will now be a reality that I have wished for long. So for everybody who is out there, who is struggling, who is doing one thing or the other, who feels like it's not working, I'm just going to encourage you to not give up, to keep trying hard, to keep working, to keep growing, to keep learning. there's something that they used to say, preparation meets opportunity equals luck. I promise you that is not a cliche quote. It's actually real, because the moment you keep on preparing, one day you will find yourself that you are so ready that when an opportunity comes through, it will be undeniable, it will be unmistakable, and it will be yours. So never stop growing, never stop learning, and regardless of how loud the voices are, that telling you that you're not good enough or that you're not worthy of an opportunity, shut it, focus, stay the course. It's going to be worth it.
Well, thank you so much, Max, for um, putting those kind words and those positive words to people in this bracket that are struggling with this. So my last question for you. So when the voices are not just from within and they are outside, so how do you do?
That was easy. Whoa, shut up.
Do
No,
you
but
shut them up with your words or you shut them up with your work?
No, but honestly, it is a two-pronged thing, right? So for me, insofar as I've been speaking from a professional place, but I want to acknowledge that there are personal places, there are personal voices that are going to, be a negative stumbling block as well. And so when you find yourself in your personal life that you have voices, and I don't mean people that hold you accountable, because that's a different thing, right? I mean people that are just giving you negative energy for no apparent cause. When you find yourself that you have those kind of voices around and they're louder, I want you to, embrace positive voices. The thing with the human mind is that we always tend to figure out, listen loudly to the people who are saying bad things about us rather than those who are saying good things about us. I promise you, if you take a step back, you will see that the positives are louder than the negatives. And so you can just silence those. They're not necessary. And silencing them could be paying them no mind. An empty barrel makes the loudest noise. And there's something that I like to say, when someone is, making trouble for you and you don't respond, they look like a mad person in the streets. So that is my very best answer for the personal things. But when you come to your professional space, baby, listen, this is where I need you to show up and show out. When people are saying negative things about you, but your work is reporting 100% max, listen, you cannot be underestimated. It will be undeniable, because you get to a point of excellence that when someone is saying something, and then your people are like, is it this person you are talking about? Because this person is doing this and this and the other. So my dear, excellence, excellence, and excellence only. That's the only way to go. That's my answer to this one. Just keep forging ahead. Pay them no mind. It's going to be okay.
Thank you. That's a very beautiful response. So the truth is, imposter syndrome can be two ways. It can be from within your thoughts, and it also can be from your environment. So, guys, focus. Remember to focus. Focus on your skills. Don't validate the feelings. Don't validate the negative thoughts. Validate the skills, validate your output, validate your results. And see, and if you're tired of fighting, you're tired of moving forward, remember how you started learning those skills and go back to the basics. ABCD is never too simple. Start from the basics and you'll pick up your energy and you get your groove again. So it was really nice having you in our space this evening. And wherever you're watching from, thank you for listening to our channel and thank you for following. Thank you for your comments. We see it. It means a lot to us. So we want to ask you, please share if you know one person in your circle that needs to hear this message from us. We'll be happy if they can find strength again and start their journey again. So thank you for joining us. 30 plus click. We hope to be on your space again next week. To then, have yourself a wonderful evening from Max and Yo-Yo. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.